4 a.m. wake ups genuinely changed my life. Genuinely. Over the past 6 months, my life has never been the same as when I started getting up early, getting my flipping lazy ass out of my bed sheets and going and prioritizing all the things that a man needs to straight away in his day. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm trying to reverse out of here. If you guys are new to the channel, my name's Hassan Amin Khan. Over the past couple of years, I've quit all of the vices that were holding me back. I built and scaled a 7-figure sales agency and then also failed that business. And now I also failed that business because of my weak habits, because I wasn't truly stepping into being a successful businessman. I just wanted to work on the business all the time and not myself, and think that I'd still yield all the success in the world. I thought I could still compete at the top level, but that's never true. That's never true. It's what I had to learn the hard way. So now I live in a nice apartment in Manchester city centre. I'm thinking of moving out of the UK like very soon, and I'm coming on here to document all of my lessons and spread some impact and share with you guys what's been changing my life and what has changed my life over the past few months and past couple of years. So when I was running my business, I was never really disciplined at anything apart from working. All the time I'd just be sat there like, I need to send out texts, I need to get on calls, I need to do X, Y, Z. But it's like the more time that I'd put into the work and the less time that I put into myself, the more that the business was failing and the more that I just felt so dissatisfied every single day. Like we were making great money on paper, generating loads of revenue with the team. Like, to the outward view, I'm this successful businessman to everyone. Even the guys on the team, they were like, bro, you're going to be making so much money when we start getting paid, because we were on some kind of like installation deal, selling boilers and stuff. And it's like, building up to that, I used to wake up every morning at like 5-6 a.m. I used to pray my morning prayer, Fajr. I used to hit the gym. I was so locked in on my personal development and dedicating to becoming a better man that when I got the business, I was like, oh, right, I've got freedom now. I don't need to do those things. And time went on. Eventually, I started getting fat because I wasn't giving myself time to prioritize the gym, to hit cardio in the morning, to really lock in with my physique. And it got to the point where I'm hitting the gym at like 11 p.m. for half an hour whilst trying to do work on my phone and just not really getting anywhere. So I had a lot of like emotional energy built up in me, a lot of emotional like anger, because this is what we release when we train properly. And when we train properly and we build a good physique, we feel so much better about ourselves. It's like you exude that confidence. You want to be nicer to people. You want to help people. And the worst combination we can go through in life is dedicating all of your time to work and not dedicating any time to your discipline or your strength, because then you become a very bitter man. That's how power corrupts people. That's why when you look at like Bibi Netanyahu or Donald Trump, that's why they're probably flipping scheming all the time, and that's why they got no morals, because they don't hold themselves to a high standard physically. So now that I had this business and I wasn't going to the gym as well properly, I was still going frequently but not properly, I was seeing other people around me in better shape than me, and it would really like hurt my ego. I'd be like, oh, what if they could come for my spot? They could probably take over my business. They could really start to ruin me. So I thought the way to combat that was to do more work so that I could make more money. So I'd be up till like 2 p.m, I'd be up 2 a.m, I'd be up till waking up at like 8 a.m or 9 a.m, sometimes even 10 or 11, depending how late I stayed up. Just no structure, no routine, just floating through my days whilst just trying to work as much as possible. And my confidence declined. at this point in time. People around me, obviously, they used to make jokes about how fat I was getting. The people that I was supposed to be a good leader for on the sales team were in better shape than me and were making jokes about how fat I was getting. So that's just one way to be a very poor leader. And those bad habits over time just led to the business crumbling. It led to me not being very disciplined. Like, I take my religion very seriously now, alhamdulillah. Like, I'll get into, I've just had my boys stay at my house for the past, my apartment for the past few days, and I'm not some saint or anything, but like every morning I'll go to Fajr at the mosque, I'll pray all my 5 daily prayers, I'm learning Quran, I'm learning Arabic, I'm always trying to learn more, and I've developed a good connection with Allah that I'm always trying to improve every day over the past year or so. But sorry, this camera's crap, but I had them over and they've been coming with me, waking up at 4 a.m. with me, going to the gym. These are the same guys that worked with me on the sales team, plus one new guy. And yesterday they turned to me and they were like, bro, this week's been amazing. Like, you've actually changed my life. Coming to the mosque with me, waking up at 4 a.m. and going and hitting the gym. Actually building, bro, flipping camera. Actually building discipline and real habits that are helping us sustain our success. Because the problem was, I was building a successful businessman, but I wasn't building a successful person. So when it came to this time where we had real problems in the business that couldn't just be solved through grunt work, I couldn't face them. I couldn't, because I hadn't had enough consistency to be able to call people out on their BS. A lot of the clients we worked with, I just kind of bent the knee to whatever they were telling me in terms of why we weren't getting paid and all these kind of things, because my confidence had dropped. I had a big fat belly. I didn't hold myself to any high standard. All I did was work, and I still work a hell of a lot now, but it's all shallow without building a great body, without building a great mindset, without building a great physique, and these were all things that I lacked, without building a great relationship with God. So the more that I just tried to brunt force my way towards my success, it always shot me in the foot. Always. So it got to the point where my business was failing. Everyone around me was very demotivated because they weren't really getting paid. And I knew that something in my life had to change. So I woke up one morning, it was October time, I just performed Umrah for the first time, and I'd asked Allah to help me throughout all of my trials, help me become the best man that I can be, become competent, and fix my business and fix my life. So I came back, and it was a good time in the UK, to the point where I could wake up for my Fajr prayer and still be like, go to the mosque. I think the time to go to pray at the mosque was like 7 a.m. I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I started doing that, and every day I'd be there, Fajr, 7 a.m. Then I'd go and hit the gym. I'd start hitting cardio, and it was very much like I was finally prioritizing myself again. I was going back to my old habits that had built a good physique for me in the past. I wasn't drowning anymore because I was prioritizing Allah, and I was prioritizing becoming a good man instead of just a businessman. So the more that I started to do this and started asking Allah for more help instead of just trying to bear the responsibilities all on my own, I was showing Allah that I'm trying. I was showing Allah that I'm serious about changing my life around. And that's obviously through praying to Him and going to the gym in the morning. And over time, I started to get in better shape. It was still very gradual. But bro, this is long. It's gonna take a while. But I'm just gonna park so properly. Reverse parking, I'm a goat at. Doesn't matter the circumstance. But yeah, I was showing Allah that I'm making that commitment to better myself in more ways than just one. So I started developing more confidence. I was developing a better spiritual connection that I'd previously been avoiding. And things came about where we were able to start fixing the supply constraints of my business, because I built the confidence to be able to confront the clients that weren't paying us. I was told them like we're doing things my way. I was finally putting my foot down rather than bending the knee, because if you want to go into business, you can work great. If you don't have you don't have the confidence to call people out on the BS, it's not going to last. If you don't have the confidence to command your team properly, it's not going to last. If you don't have the leadership to be able to be that beacon of discipline and respect, it's not going to last. And I've talked about this at length in other videos, so I'm not going to go deep on that today. But that was the initial period of me being like, right, I need to wake up early. And then I was facing the same problems a bit later on, where I was pretty consistently waking up at 6, but I hadn't really, like, anyone can wake up at 6. I felt like I needed more of an edge. And it was getting towards the summertime, and the time to pray Fajr, the sunrise was at like 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. And I knew that I can't compromise on waking on my Fajr prayer, because I'm not someone that could just wake up once in the night, wake up like twice in the night, wake up to pray, then go back to sleep. I can't do that. I feel like I'm wasting time, and a lot of the time I don't end up waking up. I need to wake up one time and just go. So I decided that I was kind of moving away from my sales agency. I was starting to close it down. At this point, I started making profit like 15k plus per month. And I was like, right, I want to go all in on spreading as much impact as I can online. And I want to keep fulfilling these sales leads, and I want to just really go all in on my growth and see how good that I can get. And I know that the bare basic fundamental of that has always been my prayer and my fitness. And one morning I woke up to pray at 3 a.m. and I just stayed up, and I went outside and I just saw like the sunrise and like the peace and the birds chirping at like 4 a.m. And I was like, damn, I'm going to do this every day. I was getting 4 hours of sleep every single night over summer. But the biggest thing that I'd always lacked in my life was discipline. The biggest thing that I'd always lacked in my life was whenever I'd start seeing wins in one area, I'd let everything else drop. So when I was like prioritizing my fitness, and I got some gains with my physique, I'd start eating crap again, because I thought, all right, well, I've already gone through the hard part now I just need to maintain it, and it's not going to be as much work. Stupid. When I got my business, all the hard work and all the discipline I'd built leading up to it, now I'd got the business, I was like, all right, well, I don't need to do those good habits anymore. I just need to work. And every time I was progressing in my life, the same lesson would come back to haunt me, that no, you need to keep continuing to grow, because if you're not growing as a person, you're dying. If you're not growing as a person, your business is going to collapse. If you're not growing as a person, your family and your relationships are going to collapse because you turn bitter. If you're not growing as a person, your friendships are going to collapse because, for the same reason, you turn bitter and they can't respect you. Family will love you probably regardless, but in most cases. But I was ready to confront like that I'd been putting off actually becoming the man for so long. I was ready to put that off. I was actually serious this time. I was like, this sacrifice of me getting 4 sometimes 5, sometimes 3 hours of sleep every night in summer, to experience this level of growth is so much more worth it than any extra sleep that I could get. Like, I was 23. I was like, I'm never going to be this young again. Who else is going to be able to say they've done this? This is going to build me into the best man that I could possibly be, ever. And I tell you, that was the best summer ever. Some days, if I had 3 hours sleep, like, my brain wasn't working. It really wasn't. Like, I used to have like Arabic lessons on Tuesdays, and that because I also went in on like learning Arabic, learning Quran. I was like, I'm growing so much as a person. I have now bought back more time, discipline, and consistency to prioritize these things. I go to talks now at the mosque to learn more about Islam. Like, I never did these things before, because I used to just delude myself into thinking I had no time, because I wasn't prioritizing myself in the future. I wasn't prioritizing myself in the morning, so all my time was just zapped. But sometimes after those, I'd go to sleep really quick. I'd go to sleep for like an hour or two. Sometimes after I prayed, I'd fall asleep on my prayer mat for like half an hour. I'd be like, whoa, what have you done? These were the best times, man. I was like, if I can't hold myself to this, if I can't wake up every morning at this time, how am I going to be successful? How? And now I still wake up at 4 a.m. It's October now that I'm filming this, and now I get to have like 6 or 7 hours sleep. But the reason I'm making this video today is because today, I had my boys staying at the apartment. We were getting like 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, and it was great. We were growing, we were smashing the gym. And I'm not saying that, by the way, it's good to have 4 or 5 hours sleep. You're still gunning for more, but it's the growth aspect. It's like, if I know I'm prioritizing my goals over my sleep, and like the sleep becomes irrelevant, it's like if I get 7 or 5 but I woke up at 4 a.m, I'm happy, you know? If I'm prioritizing the things that I was previously putting off, that's what makes me happy. Because I know I'm growing. I'm able to get in better shape. I'm able to make more money. I'm able to be a better leader. I'm able to be more confident. I'm able to get way quicker towards my goals. I'm able to be a better man for Allah. But we weren't sleeping much. And on the last day, yesterday, I was getting really tired and delirious in the day. And I went to bed last night, about 10:30, and set my alarm for 4:25 and 4:30. And then the alarm came. I woke up in the middle of the night. I thought there was an angel of death in my room, because we spoke to one brother at the mosque. I thought he was talking about when the angel of death comes to you, he'll come slow if you're gonna have a good ending. And it was just playing on my mind. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I saw this like shadow in my room. Like when I had to go up and go to the toilet, and I saw this shadow in my room, and it looked like a cat. And in the apartment, my roommate's got 3 cats, and it looked like I turned the light on and the shadow wasn't there. When I turned it off, it was there. I was like, all right, well, this could be something. This could be the angel of death. So I was like, right, I'm gonna go for a wee, and then I'm gonna make wudu, because at least if I died, then I'm in a state of purity. And then alhamdulillah, I wasn't dead, but I missed my alarm, and I woke up at 6 a.m. to my same boy who stayed with me, Brad, who couldn't even wake up at 6 a.m. but the past week he's been waking up with me at 4:30. He called me and he's like, bro, I've not seen you post on your story that you're awake. Just making sure that you're up. And I was like, thank you for waking me up. I was like, I messed up. And man, like, it's not very often that I miss the wake ups, but I still got up in time to pray, alhamdulillah. I've just finished my gym session, alhamdulillah. And I wouldn't have been prioritizing these things if I hadn't built that consistency and those reps of constantly waking up at 4 a.m, constantly waking up and going and attacking my day, constantly prioritizing myself before the world wakes up, constantly becoming the best man I can be. This is what builds us as men. We're taught so many lessons in life. They stare us in the face. They're going to keep repeating themselves. But until you take that consistency into your own hands, until you take that discipline into your own hands, until you start looking at your life and understanding that your life is never going to change until you start changing certain things that you do. the reason why you find it hard to focus at certain things, and the reason why you're not where you want to be, isn't because you need to read another book, or isn't because you need to watch another motivational video. It's because you have to change something about yourself. You have to focus on building yourself completely up as a man. And the minute I started doing that, the minute I started prioritizing myself as a holistic person, is the minute my life started to change. And I want the same for you. Put yourself first in the morning. Put yourself before the world. Prioritize your relationship with God. Prioritize the fitness, everything. And all of those good traits that you build in the morning are going to trickle on into the rest of your life. The life quality increases. Your relationships increase. Everything. All because you took that leap to stop avoiding your problems and actually become consistent. Actually become disciplined. Actually become rare. No one else is doing this, bro. And when you can start to do this, you start to inspire everyone else around you. Just like I hope how I can inspire you guys. Everyone that sees my Instagram, you're inspired. You see me a lot more day to day. Everyone that I've coached on the sales team or on here, you've all told me the difference it's had on your lives, and that makes me satisfied. But it's your turn to start taking those leaps for yourself and then pass it on to everyone else. Because once we lock in our habits, we're genuinely unstoppable. I want to become a multi-millionaire. I'm never going to get there unless I prioritize these habits. For me, it's always been extreme. I've always had to have a little bit of an extreme life. Like, whether I go to sleep at 5 a.m. or I wake up at 4 a.m. or whatever, that's how I live. Because when I'm obsessed, I'm obsessed. And I don't think I've ever grown in my life when I haven't been obsessed about bettering myself. Make the change today, bro. Because the more excuses that we make, the more we signify to our own selves that our goals mean nothing. When you signify that to yourself, that's why the same chains stay stuck on repeat. Build the discipline, build the habits, build the consistency, build a man, and build habits that no one else can take from you. That's the way that we take over the world. Keep pushing, boys. I love you.